Welcome to Elevate. Every community needs champions with vision and grit. Today, we engage with those who are creating value wherever they go in the state. Hi, we're back for another episode of the Women's Leadership Institute podcast, Elevate. And as always, we have an amazing guest. We have Carolynn Williams here today. She is the founder and CEO of the Women's Wellness Summit. And I can't wait for you to meet her. She's going to be your best friend by the end of this podcast, and I'm so excited about it. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Patty. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's dive in. First of all, I want to give a shout out to one of our WI alums because she knew me really well and she knew you. And she just messaged on LinkedIn and said, you are two cool people and I think you need to know each other.
She is a sugar for the record. And so I am so grateful that she introduced us. She's a master networker. She's down to earth.
She is.
And she knows who she is. So
yes, she does. And she pays it forward. So shout out.
Seriously.
Okay, so I've kind of told your name and title, but I want you to introduce yourself more, kind of give your background, whatever you want to share. And I also want you to give us something personal. Mm-hmm. You know, whether you like to dance in the kitchen or you like fast cars or whatever that might be, something personal as well.
Great. So I'm Carolynn Williams of the Women's Wellness Summit, and it's all about amplifying women's voices, impact, and influence by creating a centralized location for women to actually have immersive experiences within the 8 dimensions of wellness. And it all came to be because I had a little boy about 18 months ago. And
your first.
Yeah. And listen, in Utah, I'm pretty much grandma status because I'm in my mid-30s. And it's like, oh my gosh, you're having your first kid. You know, like what?
Right.
So needless to say, I cerebrally understood that parenthood was going to be hard. But then you get thrown into the arena instead of the nosebleeds.
Yep.
And let me tell you, I got absolutely obliterated in the postpartum experience. And the more women I talked to, the more I realized everyone is on chronic survival mode.
It's a thing, yeah.
And I disapprove of that message. There are far too many women who are incredibly talented.
You're like, why are we living with this?
Yeah, what is the beef here, sisters? Like, let's rally. So got in touch with an amazing event producer, and we partnered together to create the Women's Wellness Summit. And
love it.
I never would have seen this side of life had it not been for my little boy. And it has been eye-opening and humbling. I get served humble pie on the hour every time. And so that is how the summit came to be. And especially with the encouragement of my husband, Alan, he just wanted me to dream bigger and to think bigger. And he has been an absolute stellar support in every possible way. And something personal, I love dancing with my little boy in the kitchen. We jam out. I tell Alexa to play some Teddy Swims.
Okay, I was just going to say, what's the music of choice?
Yep, Teddy Swims. He is my go-to musician, and we just go hamtown. We have the best moves for only us and nobody else.
That's right.
Like,
yes. Those are the best moves.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about us.
That's perfect. We were cleaning out our music, our playlist, family playlist, and I still have, my kids are a little bit older, on the playlist, brush your teeth, brush your teeth. And I'm like, okay, those times, I love them. Yeah, so I love to hear that. Just before the podcast, you were telling me what a support your husband has been in this, and that maybe it would have been something different without his dream bigger.
Yes.
What a gift. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yes. So here we are in the middle of the postpartum experience, and I'm talking with Alan and I'm asking him, how can we help women? Because when women feel better, everybody benefits from the inside out. I mean, the homes are stronger, families are better, communities are lifted. It's just this complete and utter lift when women are well, because so many people depend on the mom.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. So,
right.
Yeah. And so
you don't know till you know.
Yeah. You don't know until you're in the trenches.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there saying well, why don't we just do a 50-person retreat? And he said, Carolyn, I need you to think bigger. And I was like, what do you That's pretty big. That's
like,
a pretty decent size of people, going from like a retreat of 10 to 15 to 50.
Yeah.
That's a pretty strong increase, in my opinion. And he's like, Carolyn, you're literally talking to a woman who has gathered thousands of people across the country. Why don't you think bigger?
Oh,
and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't have to do it all and be it all. I just need to know the right people to bring it in and make the magic happen. And so it's all about gathering those resources and gathering those people. And he's been phenomenal. I mean, he's been our designer. He's been my sounding board. He's been just one of those people that it's like, well, have you thought about this? And have you thought about that? And
that's so great.
100% he's behind it, which has made the world a difference.
Yes.
Because if he wasn't, there's no way I could get this off the ground.
Super hard. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then balancing motherhood and business owner and wife, all of the things and all of the hats that we wear.
Sure.
It's one of those miracles of having those moments together that we get to lift.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that about him.
That's so cool. And I like light bulb in my head when you said, wait, I don't have to do this all alone.
No.
I can just get really cool people to help me. Then I get to make something amazing and meet cool people.
It's like a
win-win.
Win on every possible capacity.
But so often I think, and I can't speak for men, but especially as myself, if I have a big idea, I think, how am I going to get that done?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we don't do things because we're like, wow, that's overwhelming. So I love that you just reframed it in that way. I think that's so great.
Yeah. Like, how are we going to make this happen?
How are we going to make this happen?
And what does that look like and feel like?
Yes.
And who needs to be in the right seat, in the right bus at the right time? Because there are times and seasons where things will be easier, or you'll have more bandwidth or more flexibility, or you'll have more energy. I mean, those late nights, they're killing me. Holy smokies, the middle of the night, like, Mom, I need you.
And deprivation is real.
Do you really need me?
You're like, is this a POW camp? I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Like, how big of a need is this? Because I'm so tired.
Kids just need like a tap on their crib, like 2 taps, I'm coming right away. 1 tap, you're going to be okay for a minute. Yeah.
We're like, how can we decipher that? So it's one of those things that it's okay that our bandwidth and our energies fluctuate, because we're always in a constant state of flux, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially. If we don't get a full 8 hours of sleep, I can tell you, I'm not firing on all cylinders.
It's going to impact.
And then ripple effect on all of the things.
Yeah.
And it's just important to give ourselves grace and understand that when we do have a really solid team of the right people in the right seats, it just continues to blossom. Easier. Yeah.
Well, and as you're talking, I also thought about women are so good to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to help. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I'll volunteer for this. But conversely, we're not as good as saying no. No, I really can't handle that right now. No, I don't have the bandwidth for that, but catch me at another time, right? Because, I don't know, maybe we feel like no is like never, or that's bad, or so I think it takes both, right? Speaking of wellness, you got to be able to do both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and when we reframe what no is you're saying yes to something else. When I say, no, that's not going to work for me.
Which is much more empowering.
No, it's like, I'm saying no because I'm saying yes to something so important to me that the no is really out of respect. Because I would much rather have someone say no than to show up and be like, oh, they're like completely
not engaged,
gassed, and they're tired and exhausted and they're burnt out. It's like, sweet pea, just say no. Go to the spa.
It is okay.
Go get a pedicure. Go take a nap. Please go take a nap. Like, it's okay to say no. In fact, when people tell me no, I trust them more because then I know it
means something,
and I have that rapport and the trust to say, no, that's not going to work for me right now. What does next week look like? Great. Like, I've had to reschedule 3 times this lunch with this gal. And one of it was because of the weather. The other was because she and her kids were up sick and not doing well.
Right.
The next time it was me, and so it's like, maybe it's 4th time's the charm.
Right.
And that's okay. And giving that grace
yeah.
and understanding of life is real and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so again, like saying no is saying yes to something else. Yes, I need to help my kids feel better. And yes, I need to show up for them.
Yep.
no, I can't make that because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And no thank you is a complete sentence. You do not have to explain it.
It's so interesting how many people feel like they have to go on, and you're like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't even care about the rest of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No thanks. Okay. Yeah. Godspeed. Love that for you. Go do whatever you're gonna do, you know?
And I love the fact that you pointed out that people who tell me no and who are self-aware and know their boundaries, you're right. I do. I trust them more to actually do what they'll say because they know what they can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That no is a crucible to trust for me. Like when you tell me no, oh my gosh, I love you so much more. Because I know there are boundaries. I know you can be honest with me because if you're not honest with me, we're going to just waffle and it's going to be a sad, sad day.
Interesting. Okay. So the summit has 9, right?
8.
Oh gosh. Okay. 8. Tell us about the 8 and why 8? Why not just a couple? Yeah. Let's dig into that just a little bit.
Listen, women do not have the time, energy, or effort to go to all of these ad hoc conferences for their wellness. I cannot
no
even
offense
fathom.
to those who add ad hoc conferences.
Yeah, and that's great because maybe people are focusing just on that for a season. Cool, great, perfect. But the summit is encompassing those 8 dimensions of wellness, which include the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, financial, occupational, and environmental.
Okay.
And the reason why it's important to me to have those under one roof is because we already have these other conferences that are handling the physical or the mental and emotional and the spiritual and social. It's like, let's bring it together, folks, because I don't have time to go to all these other things. And I also want to be immersed into what you're doing.
Yeah, that's important for you.
It is. I need to see it, feel it, experience it, smell it, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
I need to get dirty with the wellness. Tell me how to do this. Like, walk me through an experience so that I know if this feels good to me. Does it work for my season of life? And it's important to have this be consistent. And so we're doing it twice a year, once in the spring and fall. Because if you think about it, you just get through all of the holiday chaos and then you get through the spring breaks and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? Like, whoa. And then you come to the summit, hang out with a bunch of ladies who are just stoked about life, who want to have wellness.
The uplift, the rejuvenation, awareness. Okay.
And then you kick off your summer vacations, rejuvenated, set to jet. And then, you know, we kind of get back into the groove of things with school getting back in session. You have fall break. And then it's like, okay, we're gearing up for the holidays. And how can I anchor in and how can I feel grounded in myself in whatever way you feel is appropriate? Boom. Come to the summit. Come hang out. Come play.
I love it.
That's what I need. I need a good community. I need friends. I need fun. I also need to have the depth and breadth. And so that's why it's important to have those options, because maybe it's environmental and emotional that I'm focused on. Or maybe I need more elements in my spirituality. What is that? I don't know. I haven't tried some of these other things.
But here's some options. Come try them.
That's exactly right. I gotta try it. And that's one of the key things that makes this different, is that you get to choose your own adventure. And
which is so great, to just wander and really trust yourself to pick the places where you need to go. Because sometimes in conferences, I've been guilty of, I should go to that. I should go learn about this. I'd really like to go to this one over here. So I love the concept of you just going to wander. Maybe right now, because, you know, women's lives fluctuate. It's this, and this. But in the fall, it might be this, and this. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And that's so important. And when we should, we got to stop shoulding all over ourselves.
I know.
Oh, I should do this, or I should do that. And then we have all of the external noise of you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. And you know what? You can shove those shoulds somewhere else and listen to yourself and harness that and feel it and be like, it's okay to explore. It's okay to be curious. It's okay to go try it, whatever that may be. And that's why the summit is here, is so that women can try and they can be something different if they want, or they can be still, or they can be calm, or they can be rejoicing in their season of life, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. So here you are, you've had your first kid. It's a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Postpartum hit you, right? Like a ton of bricks. And instead of like turning inward to be like, how do I deal with all this? You are creating this mass conference to help all of us deal through it. Like, what was that turning point? Like, how did it go from I'm just surviving to, wow, I'm going to get all these people together and do this? Because I think that's a really interesting pivot point.
Yeah, that is. It was a conversation that I had with my husband of I went from having a full-blown career to quitting corporate to starting my own consulting business to then becoming a full stay-at-home parent. And I realized that so often people will distill the human complexity to a singular identity. Oh, I'm just a mom.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what that means? Just a mom? Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Like, we came into this world far more than just one identity.
Right.
You come in as a daughter, a sister, a friend, a cousin, and you just keep growing and adding on to these different complexities that we have. And I wanted women to feel like they were more than just whatever that was.
I love how you said that. Sometimes we want to distill multiple complexities into a single identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's just have that sit for a moment. That is powerful because often COVID sometimes was hard for working women because you're on a screen. And I 100% have had my kids come in, right? They're doing the bunny ears behind me, whatever it was. And to be honest, in some situations that was totally fine and accepted. And in some situations it was not. And so I had to like choose, do I show up today as professional Patty and my mom Patty? And I think that I'm my best when I just get to be Patty, all of Patty.
Right.
So, and I think most people want that. It's just sometimes hard, especially in corporate structures, right? To have that flexibility. So I love that you said that.
Well, and we're starting to see that big shift.
Yes, we are.
In how people show up in the corporate setting because we have all of these different opportunities to really let people shine. And it's not because of a specific identity or a specific achievement.
It's
because
who
of
they
who they
are. Yes.
Say, my word. Let's celebrate humans. Like, my word, we're so amazing and so complex that, again, distilling that complexity to a singular identity.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it has been distilled? It's totally not on my list, so.
Yeah, it's great. I think because it's easier for people to categorize with singular.
Our brain is efficient, and it's like mom, daughter.
Yes. Mom, daughter, worker, and you all of a sudden are shifting through that. But I can guarantee you that if I was going into an office and I have my little boy at home, I'm going to be thinking about him. I'm like, how's my little baby?
They're never really separate.
You don't hang that up. It is always with you. And so how do we create a culture and an environment where we can thrive
that can
as
be celebrated.
People?
Yeah.
Not just as a businesswoman or a mom or whatever it is. Again, oh, I'm just a mom. I'm just a career person. Whatever that is. Yeah. Celebrate your full 360 identity. It doesn't have to be parceled out like that.
It's interesting because I went to a session on finding belonging in AI, and they had us go in and we put 7 stickers wherever we wanted, but they were all parts of us so that people could see the whole you instead of just however you presented at the moment, right? However I introduced myself. And so visually, I think that's the concept we're talking about here, right? Is how do you show up? How comfortable do you show up? If you feel resistance, why is there resistance there, you know? And from a talent perspective, one thing that we go into companies with the Elevate Her Challenge is retention. And one of the largest things for retaining people is seeing their value, getting them in the right spot where they can thrive. You know, that's so important to retain. And it seems like such a no-brainer, but somehow that doesn't always align with corporate missions and goals and all those kind of things.
Which is fascinating to me because as just a regular human, people want to be recognized for their contributions, whatever that may be. Yeah. And when you look at all of the things, all of the months of like athletic trainer month or medical professional or like Alzheimer's month or autism or whatever it is, people want to be seen. Sure. And so instead of seeing the label Why don't we see the person?
Mm-hmm.
And while people have these different identities,
yeah,
it's plural. So what are you willing to see? What are you
Mm-hmm.
willing to engage in? And how do you celebrate the whole without being like, except for that part? You got to celebrate the whole cake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to celebrate the whole cake. And you know what? If you put a little extra salt in there, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to have some extra cream cheese frosting on top. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. Or maybe you don't want extra cream cheese frosting. You like it a little salty.
But you got to know that.
Yes.
Or this project, we really need this, this, and this. Whose strengths are those?
Yes.
And we also need this person over here to shake them up and keep out of groupthink because they're a disruptor. And these three are all going to think alike. It's interesting as we have talked to people about this and we go into companies and even here on the podcast, if we go back through. But most people who create really dynamic teams, which we know, research driven, right, that dynamic teams come from different thinking.
Yes.
So do a personality test, do the color code, do the predictive index, do Gallup's strength, whatever it is, so you can know your people and then you can put them in situations where they can shine or where their talents are exactly what is needed for that project. Because I don't think we should like corner anyone because they're this, they can only do this. But let's really that takes a lot more work. That takes a lot more work for leaders, but I think it pays off in dividends.
Totally. Well, and it's great to have that framework without pigeonholing people into, you're an ENFJ or whatever it is.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, we need someone who's, the opposite, but how do we harmonize those? And what does that look like? Leadership really comes down to how are you going to orchestrate and be the conductor of your company?
Yes.
What does that look like? Like, is someone killing it on the drums and we got to, amp up the cellos over here? We got to harmonize that. And what does that look like and feel like? It's going to be different for everybody, regardless of your personality, traits, backgrounds, skills. You got to figure out how to really harmonize those and recognize that people do change. And we have to give them that opportunity to change.
Absolutely. Okay, so I have a point, and then I want to lead into another question. Much of the work we do, and I tell this a lot, but I will stand by it because I love it. One of my very first cohorts that I went to when I was hired at the Women's Leadership Institute was a graduation, and we rolled out the red carpet because we wanted them to be recognized.
Right.
And some women owned it and strutted, and we cheered. And some women walked on the edge of it because they didn't want to walk fully on it. And some women bypassed it altogether. Now, I don't know everyone's reasons or why they did what, but it has played out in the hundreds and hundreds of women that I've talked to that sometimes women have a hard time claiming it. Sometimes women have a really hard time understanding that awareness part of even what their talents are, right?
Right.
So I love this concept that you put it all under one umbrella of a summit and they just get to explore and wander because there's a lot of leadership power in that, right?
Personal leadership is a big deal.
Yeah.
And understanding that not everybody wants to be celebrated the same way.
Exactly.
Some people love the words of affirmation.
Yes.
It's
not yours.
Could care less. Is that so terrible?
No.
I'm like, I appreciate what you're trying to do. And I appreciate that that's something that you wanted to share.
Sure.
And so I take that and I love it and I honor it.
Yes.
Do I need it? Absolutely not. Like the way that people can really resonate and show me that they love me or appreciate me is acts of service. Like when you take the time to see me and my circumstances and what's going on, it is fire. I'm like, oh my gosh, they love me so much. And it's a world of difference. Whereas I have other friends where words of affirmation, they couldn't get enough of it. And I thought, well, why not? Have you thought about giving yourself words of affirmation of how wonderful you are and how talented you are, your work ethic, who you're becoming, how you're growing? Have you thought about doing intrinsic motivation? Because if you're looking for that chronic external motivation or validation,
it's gonna be trouble.
That is a very deep abyss that will never be filled.
No. I heard a lady one time and she said, I have 5 friends on my list when I really need something. And they know exactly what I need. This friend, I call her to do this. This friend does this. This friend does this. And I was blown away because that was brilliant. right? Because sometimes people are like, how can I help? And you're like, I don't know. Like, just add that to my list. Like, how can you help?
Right.
But she had it down. She knew herself well. She knew what the people could do, and bada bing.
Well, and creating that trust that you could actually ask.
Yeah.
That's a big
really
deal.
Personal thing.
Oh,
but it
is
was
a
like,
whole new level.
You know, I love, like, I don't remember the specifics, but it was like, I love this meal from such and such. Right? Or maybe someone, it's a dirty soda or whatever. But I just think that's a powerful tool, women, to keep in their back pocket, to remember that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be specific to who your personality is. Right? And there's more power in that.
Totally. Well, I even called one of my best friends the other day. I was at Home Depot.
Okay.
And I was going to be working on this project, and I got stage fright. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm literally making this up as I go.
This summit?
Not for this. It was yesterday.
It was a how? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I want to figure out how to do this DIY project. Okay. Did I do any research? Of course not. So then I call my best friend, and I said, Paige, I need help. And she's like, speak to me. What's going on?
You're like, I'm paralyzed at Home Depot.
And I'm like, do you see this? And she's like, yeah. What are you doing? And I was like, oh, well, this is the project that I'm working on. And she's like, oh, well, if you go with the left one, you can do this. If you go with the right one, you can do this.
That's awesome.
And she walked me through it without making me feel like I was incompetent. Because it was my first rodeo. She's a very, very talented interior designer. She's great at what she does. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to give her a little call.
I love that.
And we're going to chitter chat. And ultimately, I have to return the things. But that's fine because I had the confidence and the trust to be able to ask for that help. Yep. So who are those go-to people for you? And what does that look like and feel like?
Yeah. And bring them to the summit.
Yeah. Please.
Okay. I think we've talked about this, but let's talk about it. Flexibility. We've talked a lot about how women's lives are different. So as we go into companies and work with them, and they're instituting policies around maternal, leave and different things, from your experience, what policies would be really nice from what you've heard? If you were to go back into corporate right now, with your perspective, what might be really appreciated?
Mandatory parental leave. Because I want you to imagine that your male colleague has a chronic nosebleed for 6 weeks.
Okay.
And they're in meetings and they've got tissue stuck up their nose, and you're trying to have a serious conversation with them. You cannot do that because this person has tissue stuck up their nose because they're bleeding.
Yeah.
But that lasts for 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
And it's, how are you supposed to have honest conversations with that person when it's like, listen, whatever's going on over there
is distracting.
It's wildly distracting. And I think you need some time to heal. So having that mandatory parental leave where both partners can be present for this extremely life-changing experience is critical. And I mean, so many women jump back into work because they have to, because their maternity leave is not paid and it's not helping their finances at all.
Or they have maternity leave, but they know if they go, that maybe they won't get the promotion or there'll be some kind of retribution. Yeah.
And listen, we're sitting here and there is no question in my mind as to why our birth rates are dropping. There's
all across the country and now Utah too. Yeah.
There's no paid maternity leave. You're telling me that I'm going to get penalized for becoming a mother and raising the next generation.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're shocked that our birth rates are dropping. Yeah. Like body autonomy is a huge one. The fact that there aren't policies to protect women in the workplace, not only in their career, but physically.
Yeah.
We gotta circle the wagons there. That needs to be buttoned up quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes the people who can button it up, like we have a political development series and we teach people how to run for office. And every time we institute it in the fall, I have teachers reach out to me and say, I absolutely have things to say about the legislature and school policies and my pay and curriculum and all those things. But I work during the day. Don't you have something at night? Can we come up and do that? Right? Like, so, or I'm running the daycare out of my home, or so many of them are already involved in things that are not flexible,
right?
That their voices aren't always heard.
That is so dynamic because how do we bridge that gap of we have these people who want to have their voices heard.
That's right.
And yet there's not flexibility to have that opportunity.
So sometimes circling the wagons is an act of privilege.
Shoot.
Because who has time to circle the wagons, right? People who maybe have flexible schedules, who don't have to work, and not that that's bad. We need all of it. But it is very dynamic, and it is going to take like a movement, all of us lifting together.
100%. It's many hands make light work.
So
and we need
always
all of,
unless it's cookies with kids. Okay, let's be real.
All right. I mean, I'm probably worse than the kids when I'm like, nom, 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 nom. Probably have salmonella right now.
Oh, gosh. Okay. But yeah, that cookie dough with no eggs in it. I'll gift it to you.
Oh, that's nice. That'll probably help, I guess.
That's funny. Okay, interesting. So let's talk about mind-body connection, because while corporations are moving more towards like flexibility and leave and those kind of things, mind-body connection still has a lot to explore, especially in this space for women, not just in corporations, but organizations, all kinds of different things. To you, what is the mind-body connection, and why does it matter to have all of those spokes in this summit?
Sometimes I feel like I'm having an outer body experience.
Okay.
Like when I was delivering my little boy, it was one of those things of like, oh my gosh, my body just went through this. And you get the tremors and you get all of these things. And all of a sudden you have to recalibrate. And what does that look like and feel like? And it's going to be different. Hormones are flying left, right, and center. And doesn't matter if you just had a baby or if you're in your late 30s, early 40s, hitting that perimenopause.
Another thing someone should talk about. Yes.
Another thing. Yeah. Had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah.
And then we get into menopause. Pretty much once you hit that puberty age, welcome to the roller coaster of hormones. Yeah. And you're not alone. That's the beautiful thing. And having that ability to connect with where our bodies are at, we'll be able to lift and love others in a totally different way because we're calibrated, where our mind and our body feel aligned. And what does that look like and feel like? I mean, the mental and emotional stressors that we have, people don't see that. You can't measure that.
Yeah.
But your body certainly keeps the score of what that is and what that feels like. You get sick. You have, mental breakdowns. You have stressors that are escalating your temperament. What can we do to recalibrate the mind-body connection? You have to take time. You have to take time to invest in yourself, explore new resources, and be with women who want you to succeed, who want the best for you. That is a huge game changer.
That's those three things. Energy. Okay.
And when you're willing to dedicate a little bit of time, it's going to put you on a totally different trajectory. Even if it's a 1 degree shift, you're like, if you were on an airplane,
effort counts.
Every effort counts, especially like if you're on an airplane and you're off by 1 degree and you never recalibrate, you're going to land in a totally different state.
You're like, Ohio, how did I get to Ohio?
Like, what? I thought we were going to the Florida Keys, what happened here? And so that's a critical point of what are your stopping points and check-ins with yourself to be like, where am I at? How do I need to recalibrate? What does that look like and feel like to me? It's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah. And I was just thinking humor would help too. Like if I came in and my coworker or my boss, their doors were shut with like a not today, hard day, not today, right? I would totally respect that. And I would appreciate knowing that. Or like, come on in, things are great. Or because then it takes out of the unspoken to the spoken. Yeah.
Well, and if you think about it, all relationships, whether professional or personal, are created, maintained, or destroyed by communication. If we are
preached into the choir, I am
willing to do that. Literally, you are doing one of those three things. Either you're creating and maintaining and nurturing, or it's going south.
Yeah.
Real fast.
Yeah. Energy into the system, right? I feel like that's a principle of physics. In a closed system, if you don't put energy into it, it goes to entropy. So you always need to be putting energy into the things you care about.
Yeah.
which one of these 8 connections is the hardest for you at the moment? And for women who have like a hard spot in one of them, like what's the first step to get out of that? Curiosity, I would assume. What are some practical tips you could give?
The one that I probably struggle with the most currently is social, actually, because you have to juggle so many different schedules and nap times, and you're all of a sudden figuring out how to do that with an evolving human. And it's like, oh, well, nap time was originally this time and now it's switched today. And so there goes lunch plans and all of those things. So social is for sure one of those tricky ones for me right now. But continuing to put in that effort is important.
Sure.
It is okay to say, hey, I have to reschedule. Things went sideways today. And most people will laugh and be like, I understand.
Yes. And the people who don't, like, they might not be your people.
And that's okay. They don't have to understand.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't have to understand. It is important to be respectful of it, though.
Yes,
Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not important and it's not impacting another person. And one thing that has been helpful for me is to just try something new. And so I got a pass to the rec center. And I'm like, okay, there's other people here. Oh my gosh, there's adults. Most of us, including myself, have our earbuds in and we're just beep bop booping. But it has helped me just to physically be around other people.
And there's flexible. You can go early, you can go late, you can go whenever.
There's classes, there's other people around, there's acknowledgement that you're a human and you exist. At least where I'm located, people are very kind and like, hey. You know, I'm like, I don't know who you are, but I love that you're so friendly.
I love that you're saying hi.
But I love that for us.
Yes.
So that is something that has been helpful for me of creating that social connection, even if it's not something deep and meaningful. I have those deep and meaningful relationships that I can call on. And while it's not immediate in the timing, it can be one of those things of, hey, I really need to talk to you. And it's like, I just need 12 minutes. Because that's one of our code words of, I just need 12 minutes. It's like great.
That. And they know.
I can do that. I can do that. Like, I will call you at 8:30 and we talk. And it's one of those gifts that we know and understand. 12 minutes, done.
Yeah. And like you said, having the own flexibility, because right now social is really hard, right?
Very
Sometimes
tricky.
It's easier just to send memes to your friends than to like schedule a lunch date because it's always rescheduling. But that's the way with everything, right? Adaptability, flexibility. That's a super leadership skill, right? Being able to manage all that in a way that fits your time and your current need.
And before that wouldn't have worked, where I needed that flexibility where they do have on-site daycare that can you know, hang out with my little boy for an hour. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do anything today. I got my endorphins going. People saw me. I saw them. We're ready to go.
We're good to go.
And it changes every season. I mean, there's people who are empty nesters who have different social elements that they now need. That they didn't need maybe 10 years ago.
Because so many women are like, oh, I was like this in my 20s. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not 20 anymore. And it's okay. Or you're not 30 anymore. Or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah.
It's okay. Adapting is a good thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
That is a beautiful thing, yeah.
And honoring that season, oh my goodness, I used to be able to stay up until 11. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 9 o'clock. We are wild.
I know. I look at my partner, I'm like, we're old. Like, who does this? This is not how we used to do things. Yes.
Yeah, totally. It's crazy how that just evolves and you don't realize it until you're in it.
Yep. Just roll with it unless there's something that really, and then like get curious and how can you incorporate that or whatever it might be.
100%. It's important.
Okay, so let's dig into the upcoming Wellness Summit. When is it? Where is it? And give us like a highlight of what they might expect.
Right. So our next summit is April 26th at UVU in Orem, Utah.
Okay.
We've got
April 26th is a Saturday?
Saturday.
Okay.
Yep. We did that intentionally so that, you know, people's partners or significant others could help out with childcare if needed.
Okay.
And then we have Ralphie Jacobs coming. She is all about scientific parenting and parenting on purpose, which I am
so great.
So excited about. I'm super excited. I'm like, I'm a rookie. I don't know what I'm doing. So I can use all the tips and tricks that are, you know, tried and true.
Right.
Then we have 25 breakout sessions for women to
Wow.
choose from.
Okay.
5 every hour. So you have options, but not decision paralysis.
Right.
You're like, okay.
You're like, I want to go to all of them.
Yeah, exactly. I can like hit these 5 throughout the day, and you can learn and grow and experience and immerse yourself into something totally different. And then we're going to wrap it up with door prizes, giveaways, and
awesome.
we're just going to keep rocking and rolling. It's going to be such a good time. So just come hang out.
I love it. I love the energy. And WLI is going to be there. So come visit us. Come visit our booth. I'm so excited to support the whole growth of women. That's really important to this pipeline that we're trying to build. So thank you for that. As we wrap up, it's been delightful. As we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to tell our audience? Anything else we haven't talked about that you're like, I really wish they knew, or I really wish someone would have told me, or anything like that?
I would say the one thing that women need to do is show up for themselves. Oftentimes we show up for everybody else and we put ourselves last, which at the end of the day
can sometimes be great.
Can be awesome.
Yeah.
And there are moments where we need to come together and rally together as women. And this is what the summit is for. And so I'm asking you to show up for yourself and to show up for women who are going to be there, because they're going to need you. They're going to need your energy. They're going to need your thoughts. They're going to need your kindness and your compassion and your encouragement. And we need each other. And I hope to see everyone there.
I love that. I totally believe about events that magic happens if you just show up and see, right? Just show up and connect. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you for taking time. So excited to support and see where this goes.
Totally. So excited. Thank you, Patty.
You bet.